I don't really understand the mind of Jeff and media very well, but I do know that it's not a Black Studies program, even though it uses a lot of things like Pennsylvania African Studies and Kuntu repertoire theater. It's not, Clint Eastwood isn't exactly a black man. He's a warlock. Now, I could have used some support when I was investigating the AIDS attack when I was tortured as a child, and I didn't get any. And they dramatize why. For example, I'm aware that black communities bear the brunt of proximity to industrial pollution. Not exclusively, of course. Pittsburgh, a lot of white communities were surrounded by the steel mills. And of course, I was taken out and gassed with heavy fluorocarbon inhalant gases. So, and it weren't black men who did it to me, they were white men. And I didn't get any support because when I asked for um, evaluation of the fact that Will Zell was avowing Joseph Goebbels, the black man in the NAACP said no, he was protecting Jewish girls' virginity and you crossed the line. When I got seduced by a teacher from India, I crossed the line for the black man, and it was production system from pornography. So I became a media event rather than just a campus kid who was deaf, who was working to make my way along and trying to figure things out as a library clerk. And it just gets super inflated in the mind of hypnographers. Now, it's not that I don't um, appreciate and study those issues. I have. I'm a straight A student in Black Studies. I've taken 6 or 7, maybe more classes. But the way that I'm treated by the Black community and the way that I was pushed aside, and people have completely ignored the fact that I was trying to help Black people. My father was a school bus driver, was a passenger who testified against the gang who was driving recklessly at Kelly Elementary despite grave danger myself. I ended up homeless for 2 years. I was working overtime to warn the gay community and open up a line of investigation into the Two Virgins Pussy Ball war game that the Jeffrey Corporation put together as evidence of the AIDS attack. And what do? They come out in droves to say, would you please cater to our sophomore classes on Latin American studies? So, I mean, I even did that. And they say, no, we want to poison you in the mouth for the Vietnamese community. I mean, Seattle is just one spectrum of abuses after another. They're not really trying to get help on those issues. They're using those issues as a hypnographic web to make sure that forever and always the African community says he's the white arsonist who's going to come to the rescue. That's not the truth about me. I'm a Pittsburgh public school student who has been deaf all my life, who only thanks to a deaf girl with Down syndrome who was punished, who has never done anybody any wrong, who has tons of black deaf friends, all her very best friends from school. She doesn't even think about race in that way. The only reason I do occasionally is because of influences of childhood stranglers from long ago, leaving me neurohypnotized with fright phenomenon and trauma. I get over that easily. I've always gotten along with black people from the time I've been in the crib, but they insist that that's not true, that I'm a white object for media representation. And they ignore the fact they say there's money in it. If I had that postcard, I would just put it in a book, with my other hair limbs. What money are you talking about? Money that I earned through my hard work and my injuries? I don't go around telling people to give me. I don't sue even people who hurt me. I don't say I'm going to sue them for their book. I mean, what kind of dastardly idea is in the heads of somebody who would sue a poet for his poetry book for reporting John Schulman to the postal authorities for mail fraud? He got arrested for an $8 million museum heist later. No, it doesn't make any sense. Seattle's whole story makes no sense. None. It doesn't make any sense. Somebody may have put a bounty on me, and they're these crooked, corrupt, evil people who want to hurt me for money. That's called a hitman. When I was attacked as a child, it was by the pitman. Pitman, like hitman. So, while it doesn't surprise me, I don't see, and you're treading on thin ice when you say something about black people. They're left hemisphere, right hemisphere, carefully ways they give it what they call the test. That's Cooter Brown's idea, the test. What does it mean? What does it balance out? I was a dishwasher who was deaf. A dishwasher who was deaf. I'm not a millionaire, not Donald Trump. A dishwasher who was deaf, writing poetry on the side, keeping secret notebooks of poems. You can read my poems. I print the booklets and give them to friends whenever I get a chance. What money are you talking about? If you have money because of something I earned, and they say, well, we want half. That goes back to Niles Schwartz and the Sonny Dollar strike. When I was 7 years old, they had in mind casting me in the story and then demanding half. Well, what are you saying? Saying I have any say over that? You're murderers. They rip and murdered a girl outside the clubhouse in Seattle. That wasn't a black man who did that. It was a mob who did that. It was a Seattle consciousness that did that. They killed the rave. There was a rave massacre long before the supernova. We've got a supernova and a cosmonaut over here. They want half. What do I have to do with that? You want me to thank you for robbing me for my life's work and injury pay? All I can say is I have no control over that. I don't know anything about all this money. It's a hoot. I live below the poverty line. I always have lived below the poverty line. Do you see me with girls? Where's this pussy I've been getting? They say, oh, he's lining up the girls. I've been alone for 30 years. Where's all this pussy you keep saying I've been getting? And we find these documents that say the persona is subjected to successive degradations of the X motive. Is that a black man? It's Gregory Carl, a Central Catholic white supremacist. And yet he's got Black Panthers lining up to protect his stake in Clint Eastwood's bounty on the queer bait. And they give me Parkinson's, they poison me. Seattle's entire storyline makes no sense. It makes no sense. None of it makes any sense at all. When I hear that my friend stuck at the casino, I say, as a joke sometimes, I say, give me $5, man. That's a joke. So I don't comprehend what you're selling. The more I try to, the more I realize it's just a ruse. It's a stalling mechanism to cover the fact that you're justifying Will Zell Brown. And that's what happened on Mount Desert Island in 1988. That's what Seattle's doing. They're justifying this Venus flytrap war game that came with the AIDS attack. It was none of this emergency response. It was planned out. It was done in advance. That's what the letters prove. It's to protect their stake in Gail Burstyn. Now, if there's a lot of money in this, that I can understand. Because the Beatles sponsored Gail Burstyn. Back in '79, she was on the cover of a Robert Fripp record in likeness. '79. John Lennon's story is that he got done in 1980. Yet the person who transferred blame to the deaf kid is on the cover of one of their albums in 1979. That Seattle stuff makes no sense unless you believe that AIDS was justified. Aha! They don't want to say that they believe AIDS was justified. Double aha! What does the ball have to say about Gaza? I remember what he had to say, a black man this time. For once, a black man. I know Bush was behind AIDS, and I support him for it, was what he said. I know the AIDS attackers are behind the massacres in Gaza, and I support them for it, is probably what he would say. I have never heard him say that. I don't know that. I heard him say the other thing. But, you have these people out in the streets for Gaza. Well, that's good. Clap, clap for Seattle. Everybody, hip, hip for Seattle. Clap, clap. Clap, clap is good Seattle. Clap, clap.